fascinating thing too is I remember watching these old sci-fi movies where they're trying to find a chemical formula for a cure or something, and they're in a computer, and the computer's like running simulation, and it shows like the chemicals and everything.
Yeah,
and that was sci-fi. Yeah. AI literally does that now.
Yeah, yeah.
So they collect all of our health data, put 10 million different files from various humans and various ailments into the computer, and let the AI run through it, and they don't got to do anything. Basically, the AI brute forces all the data and finds patterns, and then it says, we discovered that every single person who is suffering from pancreatic cancer also had this one weird marker that no one's ever noticed before, because it can see patterns we can't recognize. Then doctors are like, wow. Then if you take some random person's medical data, load it into the AI, they're going to be like, in 10 years, you'll have pancreatic cancer because you have the same marker as them. We can treat it right now. That's what AI can do that humans can't see. So if you were to load all of the world's weather data in real time, constantly into an AI, it's going to show you basically a map of probabilities where storms may form. Our predictive capabilities are going to go through the roof with AI technology.
So you said something though. What do you get? Farmers Almanac's been doing that for so long, where they predict, weather patterns for years in advance using what? Astronomy?
Nature.
Sometimes they're very wrong. Often
sometimes very wrong, right? But sometimes they say they're 80% right, but other people say they're 50% right. But
well, here's solar data too. They use a lot of solar data.
Here's a question: what do you guys think is more complicated to do? Human biology, like understanding human biology start to finish, or understanding weather on a planet? What do you think?
Weather. There's trillions of variables.
Think weather's more in depth than like a human biology?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a couple of reasons too. I think they're both extremely complex. But with the atmosphere, you're dealing with basically every chemical element and how it could interact in different areas, plus temperature.
Right, within Earth, of course. I'm not talking about like space or the universe.
No,
as a
right.
whole.
But on the surface of the planet, you've got different temperatures, you've got volcanic eruptions. All of these different things are going to interact in ways that are much more difficult to track, especially from the size of the planet. The data points you would need. I'm looking at it from this. If we took an AI and it was just this basic, Jarvis.
That's the point I'm trying to keep. Yeah.
Input data. If we loaded human medical data, it would probably compile it much more quickly than Earth weather data. Earth weather data, I think, is massively more complicated.
Yeah.
Well,
I can see that. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, kind of look at, they're already using AI for their spaghetti models and all kinds of stuff. But when you think about that, really, if you've seen what happens when you allow an AI to have access to a quantum computer, you're talking about next level computational stuff. So I would agree that with all of the data that we have, they might be able to find the right spot to seed or things like that using AI, and maybe even know where it's going to go. But look how they do the weather now. I mean, they're
not only that, AI could just be like, if silver iodide is added to this area, the chance of a storm increases to this. It could say if potassium, whatever is a chloride is added to this area, the chance of a storm becomes this. You don't even the AI stuff is this is why all of the world's governments are racing full speed towards AI, because it is the most powerful super weapon. Right. You don't need to make the weapon. The AI will just tell you. The AI is just going to tell you, if you heat this one area by 3 degrees in this radius, this will happen. And you're going to be like, okay, you don't need to build a weapon. And then you're going to be like, how do we heat it up? And it's going to say, take these metals and take these things, combine these chemicals, and it'll do it for you.
I think that's what they're doing right now. They're exploiting situation that they've have data for a long time. So if they were going to manipulate the weather, they do know where and what time. I think the problem is they don't have a good understanding of the long cycles of things in order for them to control it the way that people are talking about. Just think about like 536 AD, right? All of a sudden you have empires everywhere. They're expanding, and then something happens, and then followed by several volcanoes, and then everybody's dying. Everybody's starving. It's cold. That could happen like that right now, and they don't even know the trigger. They blame the volcanoes. There might have been some in Ecuador and Greenland and other places, but they don't actually know what the trigger is. And now they're saying maybe there was some kind of cosmogenic, part to that, like the meteoroids adding to it, or possibly the sun did something, and now we're looking at the sun kind of stepping down.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.